Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast. On a little bit of a sad note, or extremely sad note, the passing of Bray Wyatt. I got Heal with me to join me this evening. Heal, hello, Heal. First and foremost, I know it's not a good time to get together, but we're here talking about Bray Wyatt. Unexpected, he passed away this evening, or the news came out to Triple H from his dad, IRS Mike Rotunda, or mentioned that he suddenly passed away. WWE Universe and Triple H put out that tweet, and now at 36, extremely young for Bray Wyatt to pass away here.
Yeah, like extremely young. And for me, I got the news actually from Luther Samurai, as he's known
Mm-hmm.
for. And when usually me and him go back and forth in conversations, and I'm able to actually catch, you know, him looking at false information. And I was hoping this was one of those moments. And I had to do my own research and all that. And I was like, there's no way we lost Bray Wyatt. And unfortunately, when I looked it up, I saw 14 minutes ago Bray Wyatt, aka Windham Rotunda, has passed. And I was like, and then I said it to my PlayStation friends. I was like, guys, Bray Wyatt died. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't know what from, but he died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like you wanted to wait because I know everyone went on the reactionary video immediately. So it's like you, there's a lot of clickbait, a lot of false information, and when it's life to death, you don't want to mess around and give false statement or eulogy when people are alive and healthy. So I was waiting, and I hope this is the one time where Twitter, wrestling Twitter is totally wrong. I'm like, please let it be wrong. Um, I hope they're totally wrong. But then WWE and Triple H came out with that tweet there, then wait, things are serious.
Mhm.
This is serious. This is not a hoax, a joke, or a bad publicity, whatever you want to say. So, hey, it's unfortunate, especially him, a father of four. Jojo has recently had a baby, a young daughter, three daughters, and a young boy. For him as a father, first and foremost, forget about the wrestler, the performer, but as a father, as a son, as a brother, what is that family going through? With him so young, 36, it's just extremely young for him to go. I know he was battling with some undisclosed illness that kept him out of the ring, kept him wrestling in the ring, and of course that should be kept private of what he dealt with. Unless if the family wants to make it personal and want us to public, excuse me, that want us to know what he doesn't. They don't owe us to let us know what he passed away from. It's just that fortunately he's not with us. I'm going to talk about his impact in the world of wrestling. From him in NXT, from Husky Harris when he came up at that when the NXT the Nexus, Husky Harris to reinventing himself to the Eater of Worlds. My goodness, Bray Wyatt making his own family with the Wyatt family. I mean, let's before we go running through all the other stuff that he continues to do and did with his NXT and when he came on burst on the scene. What was your thoughts? Because he was totally different. Like, who is this guy? Mystique with the Fireflies, with the aura that he brought. Your thoughts when you first saw Bray? Yeah.
Yeah, going down his career, when first saw him at Husky Harris, I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know how this dude's gonna fit in the company, but you can tell he's got some athleticism. Hopefully WWE gives him something, rather it's from his own personality or maybe one of Vince's like genius creations, because obviously at the time Vince was still in control. I was like, but we'll see what they can do with him. But even with the Nexus, you can see he had potential, and obviously, after the whole Nexus thing, then we got introduced to the character Bray Wyatt. And, besides The Undertaker, which is why he got a lot of Undertaker comparisons. And Kane, you can throw Kane in there too.
Yes.
Uh, Arguably Papa Chongo too. We bottom line is there's very few dark characters like that. We've never really seen a dark character, especially in a while, besides Undertaker, because a lot of those characters I just got done naming were from the '90s and so on and so forth. And Kane, even at that time, wasn't really dark. He was part of the Authority and whatnot. Bray Wyatt did come in and say, "Hey, a dark character can still fit in today's wrestling." And we share our opinions about his character all the time. They're like that, but bottom line is like, yeah, he was something that was unique. And I think a lot of people are right to say that sometimes, when you have a unique character like that, sometimes the writers don't really know how to book you or write you. And I think Bray Wyatt could have been so much more bigger than what he was, because Bray Wyatt, he was just a unique character. He really was, for today's times and all that. And especially when we started getting introduced to the Fireflies and all of that, and Sister Abigail, and it was just a really cool character. And I saw an interview actually a few years ago where Bray Wyatt said he felt like that was just him, which is a really cool thing. When a person gets to play a character that's really close to them, or it's a character they get to have a lot of fun with. And I it just and that's another reason why this hurts so much more, because again, no matter what you debate about his character or his in-ring ability or whatever, this character never really got to reach its prime. You know what I mean? This character never really got to. We never really got to see the Bray Wyatt character go anywhere really, like where it was supposed to be. If you get what I'm saying, and therefore I think, Windham Rotunda. I think if you were to ask him, there was so much more left on the table. And as for Windham, I'll say what I think about him as a person after you give your thoughts, because I have a deep story actually with him.
Okay, cool. With his, I enjoyed when he came as Bray Wyatt with with the Fireflies. He had his group. He grouped, with Harper, with Rowan. Then they brought in Braun Strowman in. I really loved it because they were all big guys. Yeah, I understand the Louisiana backwoods, that fashion group were menacing. Also, the catchy intro music. That music will come out with the that captivated you. You were looking forward to see Bray Wyatt wrestle, despite the fact there was sometimes he was on a losing streak or lost, or they were getting, he was losing to get over, or they was telling. But he was a storyteller in the ring, regardless victories or not lived to his potential. But when it came to the Wyatt family, there was always a storyline with them, with the promos, the vignettes, the backstage. That's what wrestling is about: creating moments and creating stories with the character, not just going out there and doing 450 Phoenix Hammer splash, and that's it, and doing all these, ring ropes, ring walking. He told a story. There was a story behind the Wyatt family, why they were being menaced. I love that he kept that going. Um and and that and he never got stale, to be honest with you. Yes, sometimes
Mm.
that he did Vince book him maybe with quite a too many times with some repeat matches. That's for another story for another day. But his in ring ability, I mean, when he also being menacing, when he would walk up backwards, when he flipped upside down and he looked at you walk backwards, that was some creepy stuff. You know, that was dope to his character. He elevated and took that character. I don't know if that was his creative or that was given to him, but he took that and he took that to the second power, to another level of degree, with the Wyatt family and Bray Wyatt persona, that it made you want to dislike the Wyatt family so much that he got over and became popular, if it makes sense. And that's what you want to do if you're an entertainer. Can you captivate the audience one way or the other? Babyface extreme or extremely heat that you just despise this character, that you want to see the worst of the worst happens to him. And he did that in more levels than one. Heel.
Yeah, and I think people forget too. Bray Wyatt is one of the founding fathers of the NXT brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, uh, like he had a lot of great moments in NXT, and me and my friends were also talking about. Imagine now, the only people left now here from the Wyatt family are now Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, and I can only imagine
And
how they're feeling.
they can
Yeah,
say Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss now. Yeah, and I can only
And,
imagine
and,
how they're
and
feeling.
imagine them that worked with him night in, night out on the road. Alexa Bliss, who's currently pregnant. Women when they're in a pregnant state, they get a little emotional, because she must be devastated, along with JoJo, his wife, and not many others. Because, a lot of other folks in the wrestling business, it's a family. They all love, one another there. They must be all devastated at 36 years old. You don't expect that from him on theirs, with him. One of his greatest moments, becoming Universal Champion, beating AJ Styles in that Elimination Chamber match in 2017. That was a highlight for him winning. As we say hello to Mr. Peters, Jacoby Peters, salute. Yeah, so your thoughts on that when he capturing, that was a hell of a elimination chamber match with AJ Styles. I that was one of my favorite matches with him capturing the gold.
Yeah. Um, my favorite moment with Bray Wyatt probably has to be I know it's not him winning, but it's probably when him and Daniel Bryan, that feud.
Oh,
And
that was a good
yeah,
one.
and it was when Daniel Bryan beat him, and then he took off the overalls or whatever. Then he got on the cage and started chanting "Yes, yes." That was a big part of the Yes movement, and Bray Wyatt got to be a part of that. Yeah, that
Absolutely. And the way he stalked. I love that cage match with Brian. It was
yeah.
phenomenal. Phenomenal job with that. Don't forget also when he stalked the Shield, when he had the Wyatt family and the Shield were in their
Oh
glory.
yeah,
Those feuds with the Shield. I mean, that's very underrated. That should be one of the that should be really, really brought up and magnifying how one of the best fashions, talk about trios. These guys were doing it, man. They were going in night on and out. I really love the Wyatt family taking on the Shield. To me, that was just at that time captivating, and I can still watch that again until this day.
yeah. I remember when the Shield and Wyatt family just stood face to face, the three of them, and the fans were already going nuts. They were chanting, what was it, "Fight Forever," or the holy, and then
Hmm.
they didn't make a move, anything, and they were just staring at each other, and the crowd was already going nuts.
And remember when it started
Yeah.
with him sitting on that rocking chair. Remember, he used to like to
Mhm.
sit on that rocking chair, and that was also aesthetically menacing. Just sitting him there with his fedora. Of course, I'm wearing a fedora in honor of Bray Wyatt on the podcast here. Um, he was just sitting there and being menacing on that rocking chair. My God! And then he had Rowan and Harper on his side there. That was just unbelievable aesthetic, a moment. We talk about wrestling. Wrestling is about moments, and that was a hell of a moment there for him in his career. And those three gentlemen, and of course they bring Strowman later on and so forth. But man, again, those promos, the Eater of World, people chanting, "I got the whole world in my hands." That another captivating. We talk about now how much we love the yes, yeah, from LA Knight and the Seth freaking Rollins sing along. But before that, that was the whole world in his hands. Everybody was singing, and they were saying that, and that was just Bray. I mean, underrated, unappreciative, and man, great minds in wrestling. Like you said, he could bring a horror storyline in character. and we bring up when he gets to the Fiend, the Firehouse Fun House. Then they team up with Sister Abigail. I believe that was Alexa was Sister Abigail. Am I correct there? Or she was taking over that persona.
I think she was just taking over that persona, but I'm not sure. She might have been Sister Abigail.
Yeah, that was just to see that there and that maturation with Alexa, turning to a little bit of a dark side with Bray. That was some great work. As we say good evening to a Samurai who's joining us here on the podcast. Hello, Samurai.
Hello, how are you?
Well, doing well. I know we're talking here, Bray Wyatt. You broke the news. You sent me the tweet, and I just wanted to wait to make sure, not that we didn't discredit you or didn't believe you. We were hoping we were, in this case, you were wrong. We were like, oh, I hope he's, just got clickbaited and so forth. But you were the first one to let us know around 6:45, if I'm not mistaken, when the news came out. What was your thoughts?
I was like, wow. I mean, because like I didn't, I it came from Triple H's official Twitter, so I'm like, okay, this has to be real. But then I'm like, I wasn't really sure until I waited until I get more news, and then it turns out that yes, he did pass away. I was devastated. I mean, I was hanging out with my friend when I found out, so I'm like, trying to keep my emotions in check.
I got you. I got you. And what's your, if you want to tell us what was one of your best or thought one was his best moment, or even something when you remember his first burst into the scene that said, you know what, I'm gonna follow this wrestler a little more careful. Was there a specific moment in your fandom watching Bray Wyatt in his career in WWE?
Well, I mean, for me, it was the 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 sorry, I'm a little bit intoxicated. Uh,
Take your time.
the first the uh when he was in NXT, I can't think of what it is. That one, that
Hus-
very white.
Husky
The
Harris? Husky Harris?
the huh? The Wyatt
Husky
family.
Harris?
No,
Okay,
Wyatt, the
okay,
Wyatt family
okay.
with him and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Right, right. We were talking about that too. The way they came up, and we were talking about that moment when they stood across the ring from Shield.
Yeah,
We would just talk about that. How that was a moment, right there. The six men in the ring, and wow, because you know, other than Eric Rowan, let's be honest. Every one of those members on that ring are, you could probably say, borderline Hall of Famer, not wrestling Hall of Famers. Yeah, other than Eric Rowan, he's still got time to get in that conversation of getting in the Hall of Fame. Not to shut him, not to, but wow, Mr. Red Jester, salute. What's going on, pal? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well.
yeah. I mean, also when he was in a tag team with Matt Hardy, that was pretty fun.
Yes,
The
because we
del-
thought we were gonna get broken Hardy there, but we didn't.
yeah, the deleters of worlds. That was
There you go. And you said it perfect with the stutter and everything.
yeah. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm a little bit you know.
Yeah, we got you. And man, this is crazy. Where what was your thoughts? Let me ask this question. There's a lot of mixed reaction when it comes to the Fiend. I kind of liked it.
The Fiend,
Um,
I like the Fiend as well. I mean, it was a good, it was a glimpse into his creative mind. I mean, he made it, work until it didn't. I mean, I don't know. I just, for me, it was that, and then like the cult leader Bray Wyatt, and then you know his thing with the when he had that match with Randy at WrestleMania, when Luke Harper was trying to tell him that he was basically, you know not for the Wyatt family. And then the thing with Dane and Bryan that also
Mention
happened.
that. That was good. That was good. That was a very great feud there. Also, don't forget him and Cena had some good feuds.
Him and Cena did
That,
have good, good matches.
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
Cena being surrounded by the kids, and then they were singing "The Whole World in His Hands."
that was, and there was a spooky moment there. And that's what wrestling is about: the pop, the crowd, getting over, and the moments that you create. And that there with Cena being surrounded, like you said, with the creepy children around there, like a children of the corn vibe there, that was phenomenal. He ahead of his time, maybe. I don't know. Well, we all know that it led to his release in last year because of the creative differences or frustration, whatever the case was. But his return back last year, and we were all for it. We were all with the White Rabbit and Extreme Rules. We were all extremely, extremely excited with the Uncle Howdy, the way that they introduced him. Unfortunately, what happened of the disease that eventually took his life here stopped that creative, but man, I thought they were going to come back with it. I said, you know what? Maybe Bray, they're going to give him a couple of weeks more. Halloween is around the corner. You bring that back again with a little mysterious, mystery, a little, spookiness. I thought we were going to start getting some Bray Wyatt teases, but unfortunately, we know what happened as of today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for I feel for Bo. I mean, like I wonder what he's going through because he was gonna finally be able to team with his brother and all that.
Mhm.
Like now he I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna what's going through his head right now. I mean, it's unfortunate.
It
Yeah.
very is.
And I think you could argue he was ahead of its time. We've had our conversations and debates about Bray Wyatt here, and
Mhm.
yeah, and I think it was a case of he was ahead of his time because even though WWE's dealt with the Undertaker, Vince pretty much already had plans for the Undertaker. I mean, Undertaker's already told stories about how Vince called him. He's like, "Hey, is this the Undertaker?" And Undertaker was like, "Sure, yeah, it's the Undertaker," and that's how that started. And after Papa Chongo and all of them, he always didn't really book them well. Granted, yes, for the times were those gimmicks as good as Bray Wyatt? I would say no, but Bray did have a good dark gimmick that you can do a lot with. And regardless of how one interpreted the gimmick or viewed it, there's no doubt that if it was better portrayed on screen or written, this gimmick could have gotten a lot more over than what it should have.
I I could agree with you there. It should have gotten more over. But things happen for a good reason. That's all I'm going to leave it as that there. Things happen for a good reason.
Yeah.
For when it comes to that with Bray. Let me talk this here. Let me say something about Bray from what we've seen back whenever you see videos with fans posting, seeing him at the airports, seeing him out and about away from the square circle, and he's always autographed, smiling, hugging, embracing the fans coming up to him. I never heard anything negative or anyone has reported anything negative behind the scenes or outside of the square circle in his day-to-day life when it comes to William Rotunda. He looks like I would have loved to have met him because it looked like he was the type of guy you go and have a conversation and he'll give you the time of day for 5 minutes. Be very respectful. As long as you're respectful with him, he looked like he'll engage with the fans, not stuck up. Yeah, and appreciative. And when he started cutting those heartfelt promos of who he was and in the ring when it's before he had that pitch black match, I remember those heartfelt conversation of who he is. It felt real. It felt real. It felt Bray. It didn't felt like Bray Wyatt, felt like Wyndham, and Wyndham was talking to the crowd, and it felt who he was. And Q, I know you wanted to say a story with that you had with Mr. Windham Rotunda. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Now, this obviously has something to do with the Bray Wyatt character. This has to do with Windham Rotunda. Um, Obviously, years ago to this point, about around 5 years ago or so, I went to a house show with my uncle Ricky. It was in Bossier City, Louisiana, and obviously I had a blast. Um, and you know, afterwards, like any old school fan, you basically line up where the wrestlers are about to exit out of their cars and whatever, and you hope to get an autograph or so. Well, I bought a authentic Money in the Bank briefcase, like the kind they hold on TV, at least at the time, and I wanted to get it signed. And while I waited and waited, and me and my uncle were both yelling for autographs. And at the time, I did lose a lot of weight, so my pants kept falling down. So I remember running to, Bray's car, and my pants are falling down and all that. And I was right there, and JoJo was in the passenger seat, and I literally was like, "Hey, Bray, do you mind signing this?" And I don't know if you guys were able to see it, but he signed right there in the corner.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he signed it, and pretty much, he pretty much just gave me a nod of the head and all that, and I was like, that was so cool, and I can admit it, yeah, I never shied from it. I'm not the biggest like Bray fan, but that day I was starstruck when I got this autograph, and like you said, I also walked away with nothing bad to say. The guy was literally one of the best human beings ever. Because you can imagine, I was that type of fan that was running to his car, and he had I'll be honest with you, I consider myself a reasonable person. When you have this random fan running to your car, you have every right to say no. I'm sorry, I'm not going to sign your stuff, because I can see why that's a little bit outlandish, especially when his pants are falling down and all that. But he actually signed my Money in the Bank briefcase. He nodded his head and all that, and that was cool. And
Awesome.
yeah, and I just told him thank you very much, sir. And I was really polite back. Um, and that was a really good time. And he was obviously part of the show and all that. And I just couldn't believe I actually got his autograph that day.
And wrestlers get bad rap at time because if you have to come correct to them, they're regular. Listen, I have had the privilege to meet a lot of NXT wrestlers. I'm not getting. I'm not. It's not about here who I met, who I spoke with, but I've had long, good conversations outside of the square circle in social environments. They're just regular folks that put their pants on one foot at a time. They sometimes some of them do. There's a few that don't mind talking about the history of the business. And there's guys and girls that want to get disconnected from the business part of their profession, like anyone else. I've been blessed to be an electrician, and I don't want to speak about electrical wiring and circuits once I'm out of work. And it's the same with the wrestlers. But if you come correctly, and they know they're in entertainment business, and if you come correctly and you just have a conversation, a simple listen, sometimes they just want to know, how are you guys? Hey man, I appreciate it, man. How's your day going? Something simple with a wrestler, they'll drop a little bit of their guard down, and doesn't mean you bombard them to sign you your Funkos. You just have a conversation with them. I think they'll appreciate it, and you'll be surprised. They remember some of you. There's a conversation I have with wrestlers that I've talked to outside, and then when they see you at the arena, they point at you. They remember you, and that's when I get starstruck. Oh man, you remembered me? Wow, that was cool. That's the beauty, and that's what Bray Windham looked like he was that type of guy. Looks like he was, loving father of four. With JoJo, that's going to be a tough one for her. I know she'll have support from the Rotunda family. And I hope the WWE takes care of him compensationally, their family, with a pension or something, because he
They
was.
did they actually did they are in the process of changing their website around to, like, I guess, accept donations or something of that nature. And so everything that they can get from Bray Wyatt's merchandise, they're gonna give to the entire Rotunda family.
Very good, especially the children. Those are four children that are wait their dad is no longer with them, not able to see them grow. First day of school, graduations, birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgiving, you name it. And that's the one that feels the worst. And also the mother. Seeing her son. You don't supposed to outlive your children. That's the main one out of all there. Us as fans, we'll forget it. We'll worry about the next hot thing in a couple. But those that are intimate, those are the ones that are going to really feel the impact here going forward.
Not to mention, the most sad part is about this, we got to know him on a more personal level and all that than arguably his kids did and all that. Not even as an entertainer, but as a person. Because think about it, as soon as he got signed by the WWE or even decided to be a wrestler, he had to be away from home and all that a lot more than probably even he liked. So pretty much his kids had to learn to live without him in a weird way from the get-go. Because even though they probably lived a nice and comfortable life while he was on the road wrestling, well, now starting today, they can't even see him for 1 or 2 days when he's having his off day. Now he's gone for good. Now he really is just gone.
And they're young kids. I don't believe there's one or close
Yeah.
to 5 or 6 to top the most around that that ain't range. And I'm pretty sure he has like
His youngest Nash is 3, I believe.
yeah. So they're young. They're young. That's a longevity of not having their father. Not gonna have their father around. So that's a tough one on the mother, on JoJo. That's a tough one. We again, we just go into the next flavor of the month when it comes to wrestlers. We take for granted what the wrestlers give up to entertain us. 365 days, a year for us to entertain us, to get that moment pop or that reaction regardless if it's 15-minute match, 5-minute match, or a squash match. They give up a lot. Some of these wrestlers, they don't have a longevity with their family. How many times Flair have said how much it is strained with his family? Of course, you see the sex of Charlotte, and Charlotte wants to be looks like she wants to have family, but this business is taking that away from her. And it's just what this business does. I know that's the nature of the beast, but I just think us as fans, we need to appreciate more all the performers, regardless if you like it or not. If you like the company that they're in or not, I think we have to shed a light on respect on those individuals that go out there night in, night out, put not only their body on the line, but their family, their careers, their personal life. And we need to, like Roman Reigns says, acknowledge them, with their cheers when they want our cheers, and their respect and their space when you see them out in public. And you know what? I hate when this happens, but when someone has to die or pass away, we shed that light and we say that, but we need to act on it. And that's gonna be my final thought. Before I wrap in this.
But don't forget about, because we've been talking a lot about JoJo. Don't forget about Samantha, his first wife. That's who he had his first 2 children with. She's gonna hurt a lot from this too, because her 2 kids are gonna really miss their dad too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so of course we lose a legend.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. even though he's 36 years old, they're gonna induct him into the Hall of Fame.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Cause you know what? Like we can go on. We can even decide to make a separate video and debate all day about what the Bray Wyatt character was. You know how it was written and stuff. But at the end of the day, what the Bray Wyatt character's thing is gonna do to people is it's gonna leave a legacy behind of what being one of the most biggest and most influential characters of all time in terms of being a really dark and unique character. Because the one thing I feel like some people might forget about the Bray Wyatt character as time goes by was not only, and yes, I'm going to say Windham, not only did Windham Rotunda play this scary character that was, with the Fireflies, whenever he showed that he had a comedic side to him too.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, so like that's why some people say he was Joker-esque at times, with the whole puppets and the thing, and just move your mind and a song, and and shaking his butt on screen, whatever. So he is gonna leave a legacy behind as far as being really influential, saying you can be a scary character, maybe even funny too with that character, whatever. But you can basically play both ends of the stick, or you can actually play these type of characters, but just hope you know what you're doing with it. And
Yeah,
and as for Bray Wyatt, the character, no one's gonna forget his early work, because yes, WWE did forget, or at least at the very least they didn't really know what to do with the character later on. But a lot of Bray Wyatt's early work was off the charts good. Like we just got to talking about with the Shield, him debuting as like this like backwoods character, with the doom 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 doom. No one's gonna forget how impactful Bray Wyatt was while he was here, and no one's
yeah. I
gonna
want.
forget how
Since I mean,
no one's gonna
the
forget how great Windham was at his job.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's really unfortunate. Like I said, when I saw it, I was kind of flabbergasted because I'm like, I had to like just do a double take because like I was hanging out with my friend and I'm like, okay, wait, what? So I sent the same thing to my other friend. And he's like, I told him that Bray Wyatt passed away. He's like, how? I mean, he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, he did. He's like, did it say how he died? I'm like, no. And then I told him like like about 30 minutes ago or so, he had a heart attack, which was brought on by COVID, or COVID related complications, let's just say, because yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a really rough situation. Like like I feel for for JoJo. I feel for his entire family. Like he was too young for this to happen to him.
All right. Now, we were saying that Hall of Fame, they're going to induct him. Here's my case. I'm going to make a quick case on why he belongs in the Hall of Fame, even if he would have not passed away and he never wrestled, and he still was alive. Like you said, founding father of NXT. He literally came up as like a baseball player from minor leagues to the major leagues and Hall of Fame. That's what Bray Wyatt did. You saw him grow up from an NXT wrestler, from when he came in with as Husky Harris, with the blonde hair, with the bowl cut, then changed his persona, developed his character. We mentioned it already, and he grew up and he kept had a longevity career in the WWE. That shows Hall of Fame. That's what you want with a performers. That's what what if you telling me that if you ask anyone in NXT right now that is currently in the performance center, and they tell you they have that kind of career that Bray Wyatt had, not with the characters, but the way that character got over and the different variation, the way his accolades, I don't think there'll be one person that says no, thank you in that performance center, because they know they're gonna have longevity and they're gonna make money in the WWE. And that to me belongs. That's what defines being a Hall of Famer. The moments. How many moments did Bray made from like we mentioned again, standing there with the Shield, the Elimination Chamber with AJ Styles, the Daniel Bryan steel cage, the WrestleMania moment with John Cena with the kids, all of those, the Eater of Worlds, the Funhouse, with the puppeteers and the dark, with his return in Extreme Rules with the White Rabbit, with Uncle Howdy, the way that door opened up, that the music, the everyone turning on their lights with on the camera phones and making those moments, the lanterns. Whenever you see one of those lanterns, those LED lanterns, you're thinking of Bray Wyatt forever. Whenever now that we're in hurricane season right now, and hopefully we don't lose power, but if we have to turn one of those lanterns, guaranteed there's going to be a lot of people walking around thinking they're Bray Wyatt holding up lanterns. Simple. That's the impact. And that right there, my friends, I think to say the Hall of Fame more.
My case is kind of similar to yours. Godfather, one of the Godfathers of NXT.
Yes.
He helped that part of WWE get off the ground, and also my last argument for him is he's literally the leader of one of the greatest factions in recent memory, in the Wyatt family, and we can argue about his singles career all you want, but there's no denying the Wyatt family was just a fantastic idea. And from what I understand, I could be wrong about this. I think that was a Dusty Rhodes idea.
The Wyatt family, I'm not even sure. Maybe, but I wonder how they're gonna do a 10 bell salute tomorrow on SmackDown, obviously. And they're gonna do. They're gonna have to pay tribute to him somehow. Because it just happened, and that some of the wrestlers that are there were really good friends with Bray Wyatt. So, they're gonna some of them. You're gonna see some people do Sister Abigail or the Mandel Claw. Just like his mannerisms in the ring and all that. What is you trying to show me? I can't.
Dusty Rhodes' brainchild. Bray Wyatt's character is a Dusty Rhodes brainchild. Another one of those. That's what Cody mentioned. One of the children of Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see SmackDown tomorrow. We'll have the watch along for that to check out, to see the 10 bell salute, to see all, like you said, all the homage, all the wrestlers working, doing, like you said, maybe assist guaranteed there'll be a Sister Abigail in there, Amanda, like you said, Amanda Claw. It's gonna be fun. It's to see the emotion tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at some of the comments, and they're all the things that are mentioned here are the best things about the Bray Wyatt character, especially the Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt tag team.
Yes, he did it. Singles, tag team, trios. If you want to, group there for. He was a group fashion when they brought in Rowan and they brought in Braun Strowman in. It just was phenomenal work. Worked with intergender with Alexa Bliss. That went well. So everything that it created through at him, he made it work, and that's awesome there. So his best feud was with Cena O'Brien. Yeah, Jesus, we were mentioning that earlier in that steel cage. Daniel Bryan, phenomenal move. The Cena with the kids surrounding him with the Firefly kids and creeped out the living crap out of John Cena. All those are great moments there for Bray Wyatt. Gone too soon there. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. We got a good 45 minutes in. Randy Orton, of course, that was another, phenomenal battle there. Who doesn't have great battles with Randy Orton? But, man, I would have liked to see Bray go with Cody, this version of Cody. But it's not. Things happen for a reason, unfortunately. But Bray Wyatt, gone too soon. This is the Heel of the Ring podcast here. I want to thank Heel for joining us and giving us those words, showing us that beautiful Money in the Bank signed by Mr. Bray Wyatt. there on your Money in the Bank briefcase. Cherish that. That's a moment. That's something special that only you know, that story you mentioned that's going to resonate to your heart there. And of course, Samurai, I appreciate you joining us. I'm breaking the news, by the way, letting us know. Unfortunately, I wish it was on some other circumstances, some other type of news.
Hey,
but unfortunately, yes.
Can we end it like a Bray Wyatt promo? Like one of his old segments?
Go
All right.
for it.
You know, I'm going to try to do it the best way I can. It might sound cringy at first. Yeah! Or whatever.
All right. That's the AO the Ring podcast. If you ain't down with us, we got 2 words for you. Just subscribe.